Hello, 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 hello. Happy July 1st. Happy Saturday. And we are rocking and we are rolling. If you are live, please drop the number 5 below. Drop the number 5 in the comments below if you're live. That way I can say hi and I can see how you doing. Tell us where you're tuning in from. I know Region 1 is very widespread. North Carolina, West Virginia, Maryland, Delaware, all the way up. So if you're live with me, go ahead and tell me where you're tuning in from so we can shout out your area inside of Region 1. Now, I'm going to make it short, sweet, fun, and powerful. And I want to give kudos to Jen Kelly because she really inspired me to get up here and do this live. I know I have not gone live in this group yet, and I haven't gone live in the Pure Romance Consulting group in a while either, but I absolutely love sharing information. So I'm going to make sure this video stays up so you can watch it later. If you're watching the replay later, go ahead and drop the number 3 in the comments so I know you're watching the replay. Drop the number 3 for the replay. And like I said, if you're in here and watching me live, go ahead and drop the number 5. I'm watching myself live. What's up? Hi. I want to make sure I'm ready to rock and roll. So I have notes in front of me to help you, and I'm going to try to keep this as easy to kind of follow. But as far as what I've been doing this year, every year, and if you don't know who I am, hi, what's up? My name's Lawanda, and I've been doing Pure Romance since 2009, and this industry has really helped me grow as a person. I know it's probably helped you grow. If you're brand spanking new, welcome to Pure Romance. I guarantee you're going to learn something here. And my video today is not so much about what we are doing on a normal everyday basis. You might be booking, female only parties. You might be booking couples parties. You may have gone to some gay pride events last month in the month of June. You may have been a part of something amazing for our gay communities in June. And myself, I feel like Pride is actually becoming just as popular, just as powerful as Valentine's month. So as I get up in here and I start making sure we're ready to rock and roll, I want to ask a few questions and get your mind kind of wrapped around pride and proud and keeping that going all year long, not just during the month of June. So, like I said, I got some notes in front of me, so I'm going to be using some of those. And I'm going to ask you a few questions, and if you don't have to share, but go ahead and use the comments below because that helps Facebook. That helps, show people that the video is up and it's moving. So use those comments and tell me, have you ever been to a gay bar or have you ever gone to a drag show? I know a lot of us in this industry have, and I know a lot of us haven't. And that in itself would be the first way to start to engage and become educated, is to go and actually be around our gay community. So, first things first, with the celebration. Let's just start with that because a lot of people last month in June were celebrating. And so one of those ways that you can help celebrate by being an ally is how, just simply asking anyone in the LGBTQ community if you can be supportive, if they are having an event that you can be part of. A very simple question to anyone in the gay community could be, how can I be supportive? Honestly, having a panel or having a community of support is all the gay community is looking for. And the fact that we are already in business talking about all kinds of different things, all different satisfactions, teaching self-solo satisfaction. It's really important to ask questions. Now, of course, in the beginning of your journey, like I said, I started supporting this community by going to a drag show or by going to a gay bar, and you can actually celebrate without feeling reserved, asking very relevant questions, being appropriate, just building the culture, and definitely ensure that your parties are also supportive in that culture, because you never know. You never know who might be sitting in your party, and to celebrate and to be supportive is to begin with having an all-inclusive mindset. Now, years and years and years ago, Pure Romance started a actual nonprofit. It's called Living with Change. So here's my first step. I'm going to give you like 5 major steps today, and your first step is everything I've been talking about so far, which is educating yourself and getting involved. So education and engagement, and that can happen more than just 1 month a year. You can build your supportive culture, and you can build a all-inclusive party with practice. So that's my first tip to helping our communities all across the board, is starting to become all-inclusive, and not just saying husband and wife at your parties, but saying partner and lover and your significant other. Having that inclusive conversation, talking about products that work for both men and women. And I'll talk about what products are really, really popular in our gay communities here in just a moment. In our queer communities, in all of our communities, honestly. So there's some very popular products. And that's the first step. The first step is starting to educate yourself. Go look at the Living with Change Foundation website. Go look at what that nonprofit has done within the Pure Romance community. Also, in your state, you can self-educate your business and your party by looking up different transitioning communities in your state. Some bars and some communities will have public events, and a lot of the local medical communities also have events. So definitely having yourself involved, supporting and being involved will help you start to kind of get used to using all-inclusive terminology and all-inclusive conversation. And it's not going to happen at one party. It's not going to happen over one night. Literally, my first involvement with this community was 10 years ago when I went to my first drag show, and I was just so blown away about their confidence, their beauty, the way they handle themselves. It was inspirational for me. Also, besides that step 1, which is starting to educate yourself, even if you don't know what LGBTQ means, you can look this up. There are beautiful websites. Community, let me just throw off one real quick. Communitymedical.org is one of my favorites. It really goes into how you can support and be an ally, but you can educate yourself that way as well. Okay, so educate and engage. Another way that you can be supportive and helpful in this community all year long is to not assume any type of sexual orientation, to create that safe environment at your parties, because that's what the community is looking for. Honestly, most of the conversations that I have with individuals of trans community, lesbian or bisexual, it's mostly they are just looking for someone to confide in, someone to be a safe place they can fall, someone that they can trust. And let me make sure I'm still recording. Okay, we're still recording. I haven't seen anybody pop up yet, but I'm not going to let that stop me. I know some of the wording I might be using may not be Facebook's favorite. So right now I'm just trying to stay as PG as possible while still giving you the best information, but creating a safe space at your party, creating don't assume, don't have too many assumptions about people. There have been a lot of situations where a person has walked into my party and I was not sure what their gender might be, and I did not want to be offensive. And you could use that, especially if you're new at talking to this community. You could start by saying, hey, my name's Lawanda. I am new to this conversation. I do not want to be offensive, but I would really like to respect you, and I would really love to know what pronoun you might use, what gender you might identify as, and what your living name is. And believe me, I digress. I tell you, you will not offend this community the way you think you might. I was under the impression for many, many years as well that I was being offensive, or I was being rude, or I was being crass. And you're not, especially when you're genuine and you really want to learn and you really want to support and you want to be there for that individual. So don't assume anything. Educate yourself so you understand basic LGBTQ terminology. And, there's a lot of terms out of there, and still there are more terms being developed, and don't worry about all the extras. If you can get yourself in a place where you understand the basic LGBTQ terminology, then you will feel confident. But creating that safe, welcoming environment at your parties, being all inclusive because we don't know who we're talking to, and then referring to your clients by what they prefer is going to put you in their corner. It is going to put you in front of all the other people that have given them hate in the past. You need to be the light. You need to be the love that they're looking for. You need to be that safe space. When they walk into your party, they know that they're going to be okay to ask questions and that you're going to be a great ally for them. So besides that, and that's pretty much, part of the educate and engage. The second thing that you can do as a pure romance consultant, after you have done some education, after you have engaged and you've gone to some of these community events, especially moving forward in your state. I know I'm in the state of Virginia. Hey, what's up? Virginia in the house? Drop it in the comments. I know that in the state of Virginia, we have a lot of different bars, we have a lot of different shows, and we have continuous drag shows all year long. So whenever I'm at those shows, even now, today, I am very sensitive, okay? I am very sensitive to the language when I ask relevant questions. For example, just a quick story time. Last night, I had my last party of the month of June. And that party was with a trans man and their lover and their friends. It was actually more trans individuals in my party crowd than I've ever had. And during the shopping room experience, a lot of them wanted to come in as partners, which makes a lot of sense because that's who they feel safe with. A lot of them didn't know me, and a lot of them needed to know if they could trust me. So whenever I did ask particular questions, I was very sensitive, and it's not something that you need to stress or worry about, but just understand that you need to understand that, the questions need to be relevant. So when I was talking to one of the couples inside of my shopping room, it was them trying to understand each other, and it's a skincare thing that they were trying to understand. Inevitably, they ended up purchasing Chafe Escape because they wear certain attire, certain bonding attire, because they're going through transition. It's important for them to be comfortable underneath their binding and their bonding. So Chafe Escape and Nourishing Body Lotion was the top seller last night because a lot of them are going through transition. They've had certain surgeries, or they've had certain things happen to them, and they didn't know what they needed. They've been trying all this other stuff, and their skin's just reacting awful. So having those open-ended questions, asking everyone kind of the same questions, like how can I be supportive? What are you struggling with, right now in your lifestyle? That's like one of my biggest open-ended questions for this community is how can I help you in this new lifestyle? Or what are you struggling with that perhaps myself as a student here, you could say I'm a student of sexology. I'm a student, a bedroom, bedroom enhancements students. I'm here to learn and to educate myself and maybe learn something from you and you learn something from me. So it's really good to ask those open-ended questions. And again, just for script sake, I'm going to say it a little slower and I might even type it. Let me go type it into this video. Oh goodness, Nancy, hello. Hello, Nancy. So real quick, the open-ended type of question that you can ask this community without being, too worried is okay, there's two questions, honestly. What are you struggling with today in your, you could say new lifestyle that I can help with? That's a great one. So what are you struggling with today in your new lifestyle that I can help with? That's a very open-ended, very honest, very relevant, very true question that you can ask pretty much anybody. Someone who just came out, someone who just started transitioning, someone that, is kind of quiet and doesn't really know how to ask you any questions. So what are you struggling with today in your new lifestyle that I can help with? And then another one is let me see. How can I help you with your recent, let me try to get my words together. How can I help you with your recent changes that you are working on? So how can I help you with recent changes that you're working on? So a lot of changes that a lot of these community members are going through are bodily changes, mental changes, pheromones. Oh my goodness. The basic instinct is a big, big plus. So how can I help you with recent changes that you're working on, or what are you struggling with today in your new lifestyle that I can help with? And this is giving them that safe space, that welcoming space. And that's the number two. So number one was educate and engage. Number two is by hosting your own events where you can ask questions like this, or where you can be that safe space for folks. Looking at my notes, I put number two as host your own events by staying involved once a month or once a week, whatever you're comfortable with, or once a quarter. You could plan your own Pride event, something that could be very welcoming to other community members. You could reach out to a few bars, a few gay bars in your areas. You could reach out to any drag queen in your area or drag king in your area. And if you have not met them yet, go out and meet them. Go to those establishments. And believe me, 10 years ago when I was introducing my first drag queen, I was very nervous, very quiet, wasn't sure how to talk, how to speak, how to say hi. But long story short, this community is one of the most accepting communities, and as long as you're honest and sensitive and you say hi, just start saying hi to your local queens, Also, being involved by going to any events they might be having, if they're doing, sometimes in my area in Virginia, there's certain performers that are helping other performers by doing raffles or by doing any kind of community efforts. There are so many out there. You just need to get inside of the community to start to see where you can be the most help. So hosting your own event, and you could even say Pride and Proud, come here this day, this time, and feel welcome, feel safe. I'm going to talk about all gender products and give you time to ask questions. That could be seriously your event. Super simple. Number three is that piece that I was mentioning earlier. Practice being all-inclusive at your parties now, so then it becomes a regular thing. It becomes very normalized. It becomes very mainstream that if you did happen to book a couples party, or if you did happen to have a trans individual in your crowd, you're already performing and you're already doing the party as if, it's all inclusive, because you don't know who's in a relationship with a man on man, or relationship on female on female. And you could say wife and husband, but by saying partner and lover and using more all-inclusive terms, those individuals that you don't make assumptions about. Remember, we don't pre-assume anything, but those individuals that are sitting in your crowd, they're going to feel included. And that is literally the biggest thing about this community, is they want to feel included. So like I said, you could do and host your own event once a month, once a week, once a quarter, whatever you're comfortable with. That will help you get the experience you need by practicing and using the terms that reach and include all genders. Number 4. All right, so number 1, educate yourself and get engaged with the communities at events, at bars, at shows. Number 2, host your own event. You could host your own event by popping up a table at those shows or at those bars. Some of my best connections have been me popping up a small table in the corner of a bar somewhere, and literally I walk around the entire event putting Basic Instinct on everybody. That gets us to number 4, number 3 was staying all inclusive at your party. Start practicing that. And then number 4 was the products that we have that are going to help this community. And when I set up a little, table in a bar kind of situation just for like an hour before the show, or you can do it an hour after the show, or you could be there's different ways to be a part of the show as well. But as far as the products go, Basic Instinct is my number 1 seller in that community. Chafe Escape, Nourishing Body Lotion, of course the Conditioning Shave Cream, and Titan, that's a huge seller for all genders. Love Story is another one. I could talk about all the different scents too, but of course, lubrication, some kinds of conversation behind lubricant, because that is going to help with that kind of care, because that community, just like the heterosexual community, does not know that they need that type of barrier, that type of slickness in order to perform and have the best journeys and best adventures that they can. So skin care and lube care are 2 of the categories that I sell the most out of for this community. So don't think you gotta have a whole bunch of the straps or a whole bunch of those boxer briefs. You don't. Honestly, that might come up once in a while, especially after you gain some trust from a few couples. Just a quick story time as I'm starting to wrap up this, because this is number 5. Number 5 is story time. It is amazing what's happening in the entire communities all over Region 1, all over Region 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I tell you what, there are so many laws, so many things that are changing. People are feeling scared. People are feeling threatened. People of this community are trying their best to stay happy and stay healthy, but they need someone to lean on. They need someone to escape to. They need someone to talk to. And that should be us. That should be us pure romance consultants. Us that have been through all kinds of education. Us that have practiced and played and product tested items that we know can help both man and woman. So, No Funks Given was advertised by a beautiful drag performer. I think you remember that. If you don't remember that, drop it in the comments. Be like, what? A drag performer, marketed and talked about No Funks Given? Yes, they did. And I do believe we should have been doing that long time ago here at Pure Romance. But I know that we're starting to really get into that. And it's so important because, again, that community needs to see itself within Pure Romance. It needs to feel safe. It needs to be an atmosphere. Pure romance is the it. We need to feel safe. We need to be that atmosphere because we need to be that part of the community that they can lean on and feel comfortable with, so they can ask us questions, so they can get the right bottle of lubricant they need, or they can get the right cream they need for their skin that's become irritated and they've lost all kinds of confidence. I've met so many performers over the years that they have so many layers on, they get very sweaty, they get extremely tight and chafed. So yes, those are just a few of the products that you can definitely promote and talk about to that community on a regular basis, every day, at our parties. And of course, plugs and bullets and all kinds of stuff that we can talk about at those parties as well. But being inclusive is what's really going to change the game at your party, at your next business event. So, story time. Just to get it into perspective, because I might not have a lot of viewers right now. I may be shut down by Facebook because of my terms. I don't know if Nancy's still here. I hope you guys can see me and hear me. I think everything's still working correctly. I hit 25 minutes, so I'm going to talk for about 4 or 5 more minutes, and then I'll have this up for replay. I'll come back and answer any questions you might have. If you need help doing research in your area, if you need help connecting, if you need help with a script, anything, drop it in the comments. I am here for you. I am here for you. Now, the story time, number 5. I started, like I said, I started this community about 10 years ago, getting into it, starting to educate myself, starting to be comfortable with myself, starting to understand the terms, understand how to ask questions. And thank you, Nancy. You're the best. Thank you, Nancy. But it wasn't until last year into this year where I have had more individuals lean on me. So, for example, just for story time's sake, I'm not going to use her real name. I'm going to say Jamie. Jamie was someone I met back in March. She is a trans woman, which means she is transitioning from man to woman. And she started her journey, Jamie started about 6 years ago. And she had doctors on her side. She had supportive family on her side. She transitioned by having a complete bodily surgery for gender affirming, and not just gender affirming mentally, but also physically. She had everything changed. Now, fast forward a few years. Now she's met me. And I'm going to try not to cry. But she was given the wrong information by her doctors, because doctors only have so much education, right? And I believe that Pure Romance has the education to help individuals like Jamie, who went through a full transition and then it started to grow back because she wasn't doing the right type of therapy. Now, of course, we have a vaginal dilator set here at Pure Romance. If you've never seen it, or if you don't know what I'm talking about, go to your own website, look up dilator set. You will see what I'm talking about. This is something that helps trans women through therapy after surgery. Because if they don't have continuous monthly therapy, it is a continuous process. It is not just changed and done. It is change and keep it changed, if that makes sense. Again, I'm trying to watch my terms so I don't get shut down on Facebook. So this beautiful soul, this beautiful woman, Jamie, so what I started doing is I started showing up more and more and more at a lot of our queer bars, queer community events. Here in Virginia, we have something called Hampton Roads Pride. I am a member and I go to their events. Look in your area for Maryland Pride or West Virginia Pride. There is something in your area that is going to have events all year long. And Jamie found me at one of those events. So I'm grateful that I continue to go and be a part of that. You can too. If you want to dive into this community, use the rest of this year to educate yourself, become engaged, get to places where you can meet people so those people can lean on you and find that safe place to fall and to ask questions. We need to be those people. We really do. Because Jamie, because of meeting me now, March until, well, now we're in July, she is now way more comfortable. She got herself the dilator set. We were able to talk it through, starting with the smallest. Now she's kind of in the medium range, and she's feeling so much better because she's been able to dilate back in to her body something that was trying to grow back out. Okay? She didn't know who to turn to. The doctors gave her some very uncomfortable devices to try to help the therapy that she's supposed to do on her own. It's incredibly difficult. She does have a partner. Her partner's name is Cynthia, or Cindy. Or, yeah. So anyways, in this moving forward, I am proud. I am proud to be that person. Now, there's another person that needs us. And again, it's in this community. It's because I show up and I make sure they know who I am. That's what you can do too. That's all we ever do, right? Is we show up to all kinds of events. Bridal events, career shows, parties, open houses. Now we should be involved in the queer communities as well, because another story, I'll call them Scott. They are a trans man, and they are going through a transitional surgery among their chest. And it has been very uncomfortable with all the different tape and all the different layers of healing that they are wearing. Because of that surgery, they are now having a lot of skin issues. It's still being diagnosed by a dermatologist. They're still working with their doctors. But miracle oil, because of the scar and because of the chafing, and because they're using a little bit of everything, but Scott has so much to worry about here because the chest is not healing in the same way. So between miracle oil, chafe escape, and a little bit of the heart massager, because it gets very tight and tense, they are able to feel comfortable during their recovery. So, story time, last but not least, you need to make sure that your family knows what you're doing. So when I started this journey to get to know our communities better, I started it, like I said, a couple years ago, but it was really in the last 12 months that I've been able to dive in even deeper. I personally have a soft spot in my heart for trans kids, okay? And you know that we have a beautiful nonprofit. I mentioned it earlier in the live, the Living with Change Foundation. Go read about what they're doing. It is amazing stuff. And because of that soft spot in my heart with the trans kids, here in the state of Virginia, I was, being in the community, I was able to hear about a school board meeting voting about trans kids' rights. Me, myself, and I reached out to Living with Change at Pure Romance. I got some flyers. Me and my daughter is 14, and she has been a part of this entire journey with me. She has gone to her first drag show now. She and herself at her high school, they have something called GSA, which is the Gay Straight Alliance. And she served on the board with that club at her school because she could see other kids being bullied and being, pushed aside, and she wanted to be their safe space to fall. So when I say you and your family should be involved, not only with your pure romance business, they should understand that you're going out, you're educating, you're helping, you're giving back to relationships, and you're being that confidant, you're being that person, and you're being accepting and welcoming. When you do that, your kids will see that. And because my teenager saw me, not only did she want to go to the school board meeting with me about the trans kids' rights, but she also had something to say. And she was able to get up and speak for other kids. And it was beautiful. And I was able to pass out flyers about Pure Romance's Living with Change Foundation and all the work that they're doing. So again, 5 things you can do to stay proud all year long. Number 1, educate and engage yourself. Go do some reading. Go find the website, community. I should have typed this earlier. Hold on. The website that I just shared, I did not type. So let me do this. And I'm going to use the comments. Oh, hi, Yvonne. Oh, I'm so glad people are seeing this. I'm going to make sure it's up for replay. I think I just hit the 30. Let me go check. Oh, 35. Oh, goodness. That was a bit. Let me go put up this website because I love this website. It's communitymedical.org. Community Medical. Come on, Facebook. Let me type. Medical.org. So some of the information that I bring forward, when it comes to, helping LGBTQ customers and clients feel safe and confident in your party, in your care. It's just another website. I know we have a lot of websites, but that's just one of those that you can go there and you can type in, gay community. You could type in, how to get more information on how to support LGBTQ. There's so many things that I could talk about, but I'm trying to keep it short and sweet. So 1, educate yourself. That's where I started. You can start somewhere too. So educate yourself, engage yourself by going to a, find what place in your city and state. For example, here in Virginia, we have something called Hampton Roads Pride, and so become a member. Go to their meetings, get engaged, be involved, listen, sit in the back. If you're uncomfortable at first, still go, be involved, but sit in the back, get yourself comfortable, and you will continue to practice. Excuse me. So, educate and engage. Number 2, host your own event, your own proud event, and make it welcoming. Staying involved or going to, like for example, I host my own pride event once a week at a local gay bar where I go and I talk and I put Basic Instinct on everybody. And it's just one big educational moment. I'm just there as that point of contact where I'm handing out my card, I'm giving out Basic Instinct, and I'm saying, hey, I have a wonderful, business that can help you with anything you might be struggling with. I'm here for it. I'm here to spread happiness around. So the hosting your own event, that could be once a week, once a month, or once a quarter, where you have an open house welcoming every gender, and giving them that safe place. Number 3, stay all inclusive in your party. Start practicing that now by saying they, them, or instead of husband, wife, lover or partner, or significant other. Having that language within your party is going to show others that you are a safe place to be themselves. And they will tell their friends. They will then say, hey, I just went to this pure romance party and I felt very included, and you should go experience this. It's a lot of fun. You get to smell and taste great stuff, and then you get to go shopping. Woohoo, okay? Giving them that. So number 4, what kind of products is the queer community looking for? They're looking for skincare products and they're looking for lube care products. 90% of the time, do not stress all the toys. Yes, someone may ask you about your, toy line, but no lie. This community needs us to help them. They are looking for skincare and lube care conversations. I had some story time earlier about Chafe Escape, Miracle Oils. Skincare is so important to this community, again, because of the binding and the different layers they wear. Number 5, story time. I talked about Jamie, I talked about Scott, I talked about living with change, and I talked about me and my daughter going to speak on behalf of trans kids. Include your families. So I have been talking way too long, and now I feel like I'm going in circles. But I'm going to leave everyone with this thought. I've been saying it for years, and I know a lot of people in this business say it, and it's, we don't yuck anybody's yum. That's a big one. And that's all inclusive. That is all including everyone. And I live by that so wholeheartedly because that is giving others the ability to stay aware that Pure Romance Consultants, we're not going to judge you. And that is the number one concern of that community is, why are they judging me? What are they judging me for? So as long as you can take that out of the picture and become that safe space for them to lean on and to ask questions, you will then show others that you are that person. And I believe as many Pure Romance Consultants as possible. I know it's not for everybody to have these conversations, and it's not for everybody to have co-ed parties or transgender parties. It's not for everyone. But if some of us can follow some of these, the 5 different things, I'll go over them one more time: educate and engage, host your own events, stay all inclusive, products that they seek, focus on the products that they seek, and then having that conversation. Have stories that you can tell others. You can use my story about Jamie. You can use my story about Scott. I love you guys so much. I'll keep this up for replay. Thank you, Yvonne. Thank you, Nancy, for being here. I was just starting to get my voice back, so I hope you were able to hear me and see me. You can more than welcome to DM me any questions about this topic. I believe in our company and I believe in our consultants, and we should be the individuals that all LGBTQ community members can turn to ask questions, to get the right products, and to feel included, safe, and supported. All right? Love you guys so much. Mwah, 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 mwah. I love you. And I hope you DM me any questions, and I'll probably go live again later this month about some other things I have passion about. Find your passion in your business, and you will have your business for life. Mwah! Love you guys so much. Have a great day. Be kind to yourself, be kind to others, and don't yuck anybody's yum. LaWanda Johnson, 14 years of Pure Romance, 10 years in our gay community, and the last 2 years really helping all transitioning individuals. Mwah. Love you guys. Bye.